What does it take to get an EASA PPL? Hours, requirements, and materials. All of this coming up. A quick disclaimer before we start. I am by no means a certified flight instructor. I just searched up this information online and compiled it all into this video. So I cannot guarantee this information is true. If you have extra questions, make sure you ask your flight school or your flight instructor. Now let's get started. Hello everybody, my name is Philippe, and I am making a video on how to get an EASA PPL. The reason I am making this video is because I couldn't find any clear instructions anywhere on the internet or on YouTube on the requirements to get an EASA PPL specifically, although there is a lot of information on how to get an FAA PPL. So there are a few differences between an EASA PPL and an FAA PPL. The first one being the minimum hours. To get an EASA PPL, you need a minimum of 45 hours of flight training, although most students will average 60 plus hours. And for an FAA PPL, it is 40 hours, although most students will also average over 60 hours for an FAA PPL. On the screen right now, you see some requirements for the EASA private pilot's license for the Netherlands, which is where I live. So, first of all, you need 45 hours of total flight time to get the PPL here in the Netherlands and everywhere in EASA countries. You also need 25 hours of dual flight time with an instructor. You have to cover at least 3 hours of cross-country, 3 hours of night practice, 3 hours of reference only to instruments, and 3 hours of preparations for your final exam. Also includes the check ride. You also need 5 hours of cross-country when flying solo and a total of 10 hours. On the screen right now, you have seen some requirements, but there's also other things to take into consideration. Now on the screen, you can see the extra requirements needed for an EASA private pilot's license. First, you will need a Class 2 medical certificate from an AME, which is an aviation medical examiner. You will also need to pass your written test, and there is also a test here in the Netherlands which is called the VFR radio telephony, which is optional, but without it you won't be able to speak on the radio or travel to foreign countries, so that's something to consider. You will also need to pass your final test, the check ride. There's also an English test if your instructor says you might need one. And here in the Netherlands, which is something else that differs from the FAA PPL, there is something where after your check ride, they send all your logbooks, flight hours to this organization called Kiwa here in the Netherlands, and you have to ask for your PPL, and they have to grant you the PPL. Now, in terms of materials. You do not exactly need much. The only thing you might need is maybe 1 or 2 books to study for your exams, and a headset. You will also want to have a timepiece, some kind of watch to keep track of the time, and a logbook to write down the times and everywhere you've gone. Otherwise, there you don't need anything more while you are still training to get your private pilot's license. Well, this is all there is to it. This is all you need to get your EASA private pilot's license. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you have learned something new.